Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the RSL Rival StarCraft League. My name is JaKaTaK, and with me is another kind of Jack, an Hjax. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. Get to see some exciting series tonight. Can't wait.
Yeah, man. Got some of the old guard coming back from the ancient days of Wings of Liberty. Zaka. What? Zergwave Dolan, Namshar as well. So we got two old guards from Europe and two fairly new players to the I'm performing well in tournaments scene. You know, you could if I say that, then I get to say, oh yeah, they're sort of new. Or someone in the chat's gonna be like, hey, they've been playing StarCraft and they've been in Grandmasters 12 times. And you know, and I'll be, well, you know, that's probably true, but I haven't seen them in a tournament yet. But yeah, I've seen a couple games of Dolan so far. Zergwave's new to me. How about you, man? How have you seen these players play before? Are you excited for any particular one?
Well, Zaka, he was a really prominent player at the beginning of HOTS. He was a WCS Premier player at the time, I believe. So I remember watching lots of his games, and it's really cool to, you know, see him trying to make a comeback and playing in the RSL.
Yeah, and just so we can get the you know, biases out of the way, you're a Protoss player. You know, you're a dirty Protoss player. You've made a DT before.
I have made a DT.
You've proxy gated someone before, haven't you?
I may or may not
Haven't you?
have.
Oh yeah, dirty Protoss. That's okay though. We accept you with loving and open arms here at the RSL. Of course, being a rival player yourself. So very cool stuff. Very excellent stuff. First match is gonna be, looks like Namshar versus Player Check. Player Check, move the players. Good God. Oh, that was close.
Yeah, it was almost me versus Hawkeye.
Well, you know, I'd be rooting for you, man. I'd be a really biased caster in your favor. I'd be like, yeah, Hjax is gonna take him. But you'd be in the Skype call, so I'd just be like, oh man, and it looks like, wait a minute, none of the professionals were playing it. That was Hawkeye versus Namshar. Can we just reinvite Hawkeye to the lobby? Is that how we do this? Let's try that.
Yeah,
I think. And we need Zaka. All right, I'm gonna do a little adminification. It's an invite. Excellent. Okay. Hjax, you're the host now, so it's your responsibility to make sure the professional players are playing this match. I hope you can handle it, because Hawkeye, I don't know, didn't do such a good job first time around.
All right,
just kidding, we love Hawkeye.
Hawkeye's awesome.
Very, very good. All right, so we got Zaka and Namshar in there. They're the players. We got some referees. Hawkeye is back to being the host, and all is good and well. A little bit of lobby drama for you all to start off the group. And of course, it is Group D. After this, we will know all of our best of 8 players. We already have Jon Snow versus Tefl, and Monty versus Beastie Cutie. Panda Berry versus Semper. Panda Berry and Semper, excuse me, do not have opponents yet. They will be pulled from this group. First map is going to be Ruins of Saros. How do you feel about PvZ Ruins of Saros, Hjax?
You know, it's a pretty big map, so it kind of compensates for the fact that the third is relatively exposed. Generally, I like it. I think it's a good map to play on, but there is some aggressive potential depending on the spawns where the Zerg can kind of do some big push against your third.
And we do have horizontal spawns here. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, it's the Teal Protoss, Zaka.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our Zerg player, Namshar.
All right. And it always makes me happy. It always warms my heart to see a 14 Overlord single extractor trick. The efficiency is just brutally overwhelming.
Yeah, that build, I remember there was actually a build during the beta dubbed the Noverlords build, where you could go hatch first and into pool and gas before building your first Overlord. It's quite the funny build.
And I think, of course, especially what gives it, you know, credit and value is its fantastic name, the Noverlord build. I almost want to use that build, even if it's bad, just because it's called the Nover. Like, that's cool. I dig it. We do have an Overlord build, though, unfortunately. Not as flashy or fun coming out of Namshar here. He's building a hatch first. and then a gas and a pool. So sometimes we do please see Zerg players go for that double hatch before pool, even without a scout. Looks like, ooh, Zaka's going to get scout first. Very nice.
Yeah, so Zaka, he went Nexus first, so he's going to see this hatch first, and he's going to be like, cool, I'm safe. Nothing bad is coming my way anytime soon. And his little greedy opening so far is totally safe.
And for you newer players, you might say, oh, well, Zaka went Nexus first, and Namshar didn't go 2 hatch before pool. Don't the Zerg have to be a base ahead? Isn't there some kind of danger? There is no danger, and the reason for that is something we like to call defender's advantage. And you can be sort of in this position as Zaka, and you're going to be really happy. That's because you were just a little bit greedier than your opponent. Not tons greedier, but just a little bit. If you're way greedier than your opponent, they go 12 pool, you go Nexus first, you're going to die. But if you go a small amount greedier than your opponent, that distance between the two bases allows you to have about equal armies by the time they get to your base. So Zaka already looking quite nice here in a bit of economic advantage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's why he sends out that probe scout so fast. He wants to know, is something scary coming for me? Because having done that really greedy opener, he wants to make sure that he isn't in any danger of dying. And if he sees a 12 pool or whatever, he needs to go into full panic mode.
Yep, already was in position with some buildings up at the top in case he needed to wall in. Crossing all his T's, dotting all his lowercase j's. Zaka is a consummate professional. Been doing this for a long time. He knows all the tricks of the trade. Namshar as well, though. Namshar's been around, I think, just about the same amount of time. So this is a fight for the ages. And nice little bit of scouting. Doesn't get too much more information than you would have got from the Overlord here, but you do see double Adept, which is quite helpful. Double Adept after the Nexus first. Really, really common way to play against Zerg right now.
Yeah, definitely. It makes sure you can scout the Zerg and also won't be able to die to any Ling pressures. So right now he's keeping his Adepts at the front of his natural just in case any more Lings come across, but I would not be surprised if he sent one across the map just to see what's up.
Yeah, I see a lot of players a bit more aggressive with their Adepts, but over here, Zaka not doing that. Ooh, this is an interesting wall. That's a very dangerous... That's one of those walls where it's like, yeah, you're on hold position, but the Zealot looked to the left at the wrong time. The Zerglings came through kind of a wall. You gotta be very careful about your positioning there.
Yeah, he was just waiting to get the wall up, and now we see 2 Adepts moving across the map to see if they can pick off any drones.
Yeah. Gonna move in here. Got a decent Ling count. And... ooh, he's gonna commit there. Interesting. Gonna be surrounded, unfortunately.
Yeah, both of these
manage
Adepts
to pull scout.
Both of these Adepts will be picked off in very short order.
Yeah, gets the layer timing, gets the Evo timing, and I think he saw the Roach as well. So overall, he saw everything. Not bad at all. For the price of 2 Adepts, you get to know everything your opponent is doing. Not too bad.
Yep, and right now we see Zaka. He's going into Blink off of... ooh, not 4 gates, 7 gates. So it looks like we're going to be seeing something very aggressive coming out of him soon.
Yep, we do have that beautiful robotics facility. Help get a warp prism out. Warp prisms have faster warp-ins than the other things most of the time. We have the 16-second warp-in. But if you're next to a warp gate, if you're next to a Nexus, or if you are a warp prism, you get to warp in 5 seconds, and that negates a lot of that defender's advantage that we were talking about earlier.
Yep. Adepts are moving into the natural and shading into the main. They're picking off quite a few drones, already up to 6, so that's pretty nice. Especially since he's going to be doing some blink aggression. If he's forcing the Zerg to spend larva on drones, that means his aggression will be able to do even more damage.
Roach speed finishing up here. And we do have the beginnings of the aggressive play moving across the map. Namshar... I think he's just barely going to miss this when he takes the watchtower. Yep, just barely out of range. So this is going to be a really nice position for Zaka to move into the 3rd. A lot of blink stalkers here. And
yeah, this build has become kind of infamous on this map, where you can use high ground vision to jump between the 3rd and the main. And it's really hard for the Zerg to deal with it with only roaches and lings.
Yep, that creep spread between bases can help a bit, and I'm sure not 100% covering that, but This is looking like a really nice tactical play, like you said, by JaKaTaK. Pretty far supply behind, but not a problem at all. Like you said, going to jump right into that main. Namshar, absolutely seeing this coming, is going to say, yeah, okay, you were going to do this build. Blink, but this is what it is. And he's taken the third in the meantime, the closer third to the Protoss player here. JaKaTaK, though, not doing anything. Oh, whoa, he's building Immortal just for a second there. Doesn't look like he's gearing up for a fourth. A third.
Yeah, right now I think JaKaTaK, he saw how that fight went, and he says, you don't actually have too much stuff. I think I can fight against you. And he's actually pushing into the natural and pushing back the relatively small Roach count of Namshar for the time being.
Yeah, and being able to hit before +1 finishes, a little bit helpful here, but I think more than anything else, it's just enough amount of stuff here. The Stalker count is too damn high, and as a result, I think... Oh, he could even get this Evo Chamber here, potentially. So many workers being killed, so much economy, army, everything falling here for Namshar. JaKaTaK with a phenomenal 2-base attack is going to take game 1.
Yeah, that build, I'm surprised Namshar wasn't more prepared for that, seeing how this map, it is incredibly common to see Protoss players open blink for that very reason. You saw he didn't even, Namshar didn't even try to go and fight the Stalkers of JaKaTaK because they were at the third, and if units go to the third, well, he'll just blink in and snipe your main. It's no problem.
Yep. Third, not quite as big a loss as losing every of your tech, your lair, and all of that in your main. So going ahead, doing that. And he didn't really have enough units to go ahead and do some kind of a split to move in, a little bit of units here, a little bit of units there. Wasn't really possible for Namshar to do at that point in time. So that's going to be it for game 1. This is a best of 3 GSL style group. So the winner of this series will go on to face the winner of the next series. The losers will face the losers, and then we'll have that match at the end where the two players who have gone 1-1 will fight it out, and we'll decide who will go and who will stay. Next up is Prion Terraces. See if Namshar can figure out some kind of a way to, make a stronger build, make a better read on what JaKaTaK is doing.
Yeah, this map is a very weird map, and Blizzard intentionally made it that way because
absolutely,
it has 2 gold bases that are really accessible, and a lot of the time you'll see a Zerg go for both of them immediately. Whereas the Protoss, they get the gold natural, but the 4th base is a bit harder to take. So Zerg can kind of bolster their numbers with really high mineral income off of a pretty low drone count.
Yeah, it can get a little bit scary. There are some... I think more towards the beginning of Legacy of the Void, Snoot had a build where you went 2-hatch before pool, but you stopped droning at like 42 or something like that. You just made roaches and you just like wrecked all Protosses ever. I imagine a modified build like that with 2 gold bases may be very, very scary here. But I like the idea, the recent switch of moving that gold base to the natural. I think gives the Terran and the Protoss a little bit more of a fighting chance against the Zerg in this kind of scenario. I think before that change, it was a bit Zerg favored, a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because the Zerg player would take, I'd seen Zerg players, they would take the 3rd and the 4th as their first 2 bases, and they would just save the natural as sort of a pocket base where they could expand there as a 4th later. And then they would have just like unreasonable mineral income and just kind of run you over with mineral intensive armies.
Yep. And Ling Roach is nothing to scoff at. Very, very strong unit composition in numbers against the Protoss early game. So, looks like we will be getting into it. JaKaTaK did take a quick break to sort of say, okay, I'm awesome. Can I be awesome a 2nd time in a row? Yes, I can. And then moving directly into the other game. Probably not that self-centered, I'd have to say. JaKaTaK seems like a pretty laid-back guy when I've seen him in interviews. Hadn't had a chance to